And we just need also to look at what you actually said. You know, in politics also expect betrayal. Looking at the splash that we have on the front page of the Star, do you think, Herman Manyora, that the Deputy President is being betrayed as far as BBI is concerned? It says Ruto isolated as BBI drive gathers team.
I think
what is your assessment?
I think we don't need to wait for the answers. The answers were right there in Kakamega on Saturday at Bukhungu Stadium. Complete. You don't look for anything else. First of all, we must understand what BBI is. BBI is like 3 or more things. Let's talk about the first 3. BBI is an idea that was birthed by the handshake. BBI is also what some people are saying should be taking place, which is looking at the issues, the content of the report. But BBI is also politics, and BBI is 2022. So those who want this BBI thing to be played as if it is not politics are actually being naive, because it is politics. And the strategy here now is to ensure that all the leading lights across the country are with BBI. So if you looked at Kakamega, it got to a point where if you are anybody in Western Kenya, in Western Province, if you are anybody from the Luhya Nation, and you are not where Truly was with Oparanya and Raila, your space was already taken. So you expect to see this, and finally, the bar, finally, and it not be even very long from now. And I've said it before, all the big names from across the country, you are talking about Kalonzo Musyoka from Ukambani, you are talking about the Mudavadis, the Wetangulas from Western, or Paranya, you can go on and on and on, except perhaps, not perhaps, except for the Rift Valley province. All these big names will end up being with BBI and the handshake. That leaves Ruto, you can call it isolation if you wish, but that then leaves Ruto with only the smaller or junior politicians. Those are the people he will work with. But the big ones will all have gone. So yes, he's being isolated to some extent, and it was very clear in Kakamega on Saturday that if you are not with BBI across the country, you'll find yourself really out of place. You'll have to be with them. Mm-hmm. And Atwoli was right. I mean, it was not right. He said it. He said, you are either with BBI or the other side. And that is how politics is always played. Politics succeeds when there is a dominant group, and it becomes dominant by isolating the other group and demonizing it. So, right, Isaac Mwaura, us versus them, is not a very good thing for a country. Because the country must be together.
All right.
But politics is played along those lines.
Sorry. But just a moment. But just going by the recent headlines that we've seen, Richard Onyonka, from the Sunday Nation, that was the last weekend, not this past weekend, where Ruto was locked out of his official residence. This was in Mombasa. We also saw in the Standard as well that he had some difficulty getting into Sudan, where he wanted to go and, benchmark on the chicken business that, he's rearing actually a chicken. But that was also frustrated as well. And it's not really a laughing matter. Because I'm given to understand that chicken business is really raking in good money for Deputy President William Ruto. Right? And maybe that one will also allay, some of the bugbears and fears that we're wondering where is he getting his money as far as donation in churches is concerned. I think also sources tell me that at least even in a day he can rake in 300 million from that particular business, right?
300 million. Dibal, I don't have the facts. I don't know whether the deputy president.
Is that comedy?
Yeah, I don't think there's a business where you make a profit of 300 million. But that's something I cannot verify because I don't have
the number of eggs. The number of eggs. Okay, let him just continue.
All right.
100 million eggs.
No, he mentioned, but I don't have the facts. I don't know why the DP went to Sudan. I don't know whether he was actually locked out in Mombasa. But let me say this for me. Dibal, it's scary that when you wake up in the morning, in our country, what you read in the newspaper, you will hardly see something that makes you feel good as a Kenyan. Something discovered by a Kenyan or something major done, like the iNews thing, which our marathon guy did. And the reason is that we are so into these political flares. We are into so much of this hate thing. And this is why I really subscribe to what Professor Nyang' Nyong'o has said. I think as a country, we need to sometimes sit and take stock. We need to sit back and look at where we've been as a country, where we are right now, and where we are headed. Even when I belong to the group which is supporting BBI, I really feel that something needs to be done to bring the other side onto the table. I don't know whether we are inherently incompatible. I don't think that is the case. And sometimes in politics, you need to allow the other side, which may not be with you, to actually have a rethink on what they feel, and you encourage them to. That's why in Kakamega, Musalia coming and Weta coming gave that function a bigger impression to the national psyche. Number two, even when I've said what I've said, I've always said that the deputy president needs to look at his strategy in terms of his engagement with the president, his engagement with Raila. I believe that politics is never do or die. I believe that there's a way that the deputy president can actually, either through back channels or through an engagement with his friends, who are also sometimes friends of Raila, or sometimes friends of the president. There are times when we need a certain subtle quietness in our country, where the leaders, even it is seen that they are together, where we actually don't have to go for the overkill. And my feeling right now is, yes, it looks like Deputy President may be being sidelined. He may be put between a rock and a hard place. I think, to me, because of some of his miscalculations and some of the strategies which the other side has laid against him. But I think we can have a win-win. We don't have to have a winner takes it all and the loser goes sulking and making noise wherever they want to go. I think given the goodness of BBI, we are going to increase revenue allocation to the county governments. I think the Deputy President and his team have said we really think we can expand the executive, which is a very good idea. And if we can pick the positive things which are BBI and bring them and agree on them and move forward, I think our country will become the better.
Yes.
The mouth is still his, but I want to draw your attention to the editorial in the Standard today.
Yes.
If you look at that editorial, I'll read the paragraph beginning, though the BBI report, okay? That paragraph says, it is on page 14 of the Standard.
Yes.
On page 14 of the Standard. That paragraph says, though the BBI report is a fairly decent document, it harbors many shortcomings and offers mundane, tired, and tested solutions. It does not propose the radical departure from the norm that people envisaged, hence the need for further consultations. In the end, it scattered the issues that are a drag to growth and prosperity, denying the country a chance for a clean break from the past. For example, we had hoped that this would include reforms that would shake up the economy and evenly spread the prosperity pie, making the rise up social classes easier and with enough effort guaranteed. I don't understand what that means, but anyway, I can guess what they mean. Now, what I say is that this is the kind of thing we need. Get the BBI report, read it, and let us see the way forward. And I think what the BBI team also realized was that the best thing to do is subject this report to public discussion in the public domain, so that they can see issues like this can come up.
Yes.
It's rallies and things like that make newspapers begin digging deep into things. Make a forum like this one also begin talking. So I'd rather we go that direction. It's much more constructive. But the second thing I want to say, Debal, which is something I've been concerned with, looking at politics globally. You know, I think we live at times of crisis and uncertainty everywhere. If you look at the U.S., in fact, if you read the U.S. papers, they're even more political than ours.
Yes.
If you read the British papers, the Guardian, the Times, whatever, they are full of fire and brimstone against that. Brexiters, well, we made this decision, whatnot. So, and if you go to Russia today, you know, where Putin has just decided to get a taxman as his premier, and getting out Medvedev, but Medvedev is an extremely seasoned politician. It means that this crisis of uncertainty is everywhere. And in Congress, they're trying to look for a solution by impeaching Trump.
Yes.
In Russia, Putin is trying to look at the constitution, put a new prime minister. And in Britain, even now, the date for doing the Brexit is uncertain. There's a lot of uncertainty and crisis. We too have that crisis and uncertainty. Now, Raila and Uhuru, the biggest uncertainty was that one. Two presidents in one republic, one in State House, one with the people in Uhuru Park. Rebellion all the time. It was going to be very difficult. And so they shook hands and said, let's find a solution to these problems. Now, so there's an ongoing process of finding a solution. Of course, political risk of holding rallies is that now you begin emphasizing the political side of it. Why are these rallies being held? Why are these people speaking against me? And so on. But let us remain sober the way the Standard editorial is bringing it. And know that we're living at times of crisis and uncertainty, and if you're coming forward to offer a solution, please address that crisis and uncertainty. Because if you can't do it, and also just politicking is not helpful to us. Yeah.
All right, Alice, we had pronouncements also from Raila making it very, very crystal that him and Uhuru Kenyatta, they are not seeking any position as far as BBI is concerned. That is not going to, you know, gap for that position of the president as it is right now. Does that sort of pronouncement also offer some, you know, pacification for you, so to speak?
You know, going by even the statements from the speakers before me on this table,
yes,
they are saying that politics is deceit. People betray. People say this and do the opposite. And I just wanted to pick from where Professor Nyang' Nyong'o started, because he read, I think, page column 2. He read, he picked from paragraph column 2, but you know, in column 1 of that page 14, it says the last paragraph. The last paragraph. It says, yet going by the events of last few months, it is easy to conclude that BBI is a poisoned cherries. It seems to be achieving the direct opposite of what its architects, that's Uhuru of course and Raila, sought to correct by creating divisiveness and rancorous politicking, though agreeing in principle that reforms are needed to reduce the premium attached to a political leadership and to ensure a more inclusive society. It is a shame that politicians seem to disagree on whose truth the people ought to believe. Obviously, Kenyans now, after Saturday, are left more confused, more divided than they were. I don't think I want to believe what Raila has said, because initially, if the BBI has now become a formation, not a document for Kenyans, it has become a formation for them. And you see, he was in that meeting, and somebody like Atwori makes statements that can be interpreted, you know, in the most obvious manner, that it is them versus us. Then they should actually stop, retreat strategically, and evaluate where they are headed with the BBI. And I say that with the, and because even His Excellency the President severally has said that he's actually not interested in 2022 positions. When you look around the environment, when you look at the effort put to disrupt the other meeting in Kakamega, when you look at the effort that in Mumias must fail, when you look at the effort that Matiang'i and his groups are putting to disrupt, to actually ensure that they use force in areas that they don't need to use force. And we, of course, we have the president looking at all these things. It is possible to read differently from what the two leaders are speaking. And you know, people change positions in politics. It is possible that this mobilization is meant to give them an upper hand, is meant to, like, and you hear a professor, you know, he's a professor almost of politics, you know, he understands this thing very well. He's saying if you're looking for order, if you're looking for legal mechanisms, if you're looking for a proper way of engaging Kenyans, then you are lost and you are naive. And that's why maybe myself and many Kenyans, we are naive when we are saying this is not how you engage Kenyans, this is not how you amend a constitution, this is not how you bring reform by starting off by beating up people, by stopping their meetings. You start reform by coming up with a clear legal mechanism. And I will not leave this point. Clear legal mechanism that says, this is the report. We have now translated the report into a legal document that will give clear, methodology, clear route or roadmap where Kenyans can now read, engage the report, and also have public participation. We are being told that what is happening in these campaigns is public participation. No, this is political campaigns. Public participation for a legal document is what starts through the committee. We have the technical committees who are divorced from politics, who should divorce. In fact, Haji should come out clearly and dissociate his committee with this madness, because if he doesn't, he will be confused and he will not be taken seriously by Kenyans. I doubt then, where is he in all this? Is he part of it? What legal document is he using to actually then prepare Kenyans for civic and voter education? Thank you.